name is Thogori Karago. I am the head of research and development for LinkedIn Africa. LinkedIn is based in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, California. But as the head of Africa, I am always on the road in Nairobi, Lagos, Cape Town, and back in Silicon Valley. In 3 words: fun, fierce, fantastical. I enjoy life. Literally, Diani, during the low season, anytime it's not Christmas or not, the summer vacation June, July, I love it. It's empty, it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's beautiful. So Diani. Figuratively, books. I love to read. I escape in my books and in my writing. I always have several books in my handbag. Like right now, probably there are 2 other books. So those are my escapes. So I'd rather read a book than watch a movie. And music. I DJ for fun, for my friends. And I escape in music. Music is a wonderful escape. I love Harry Potter, so I read it since I was a little girl. I would probably say Hermione. I identify with her because she's strong. She's like the only girl in a room full of boys, basically Ron and Harry. And I identify that because I did computer science. I'm always the only girl in the room. But she's also she stands her ground. You don't mess with Hermione, so don't mess with me either. And it's she's small but tough and resilient and smart and witty and #goals. Just now, what you said. Literally the last question. I laugh a lot. I come from a family of professional laughers. Wow, how would I describe my childhood? I would describe it as really, really adventurous, unexpected. I grew and quite crazy because we were 12 kids growing up in one compound and very adventurous, mischievous kids, and it was in the farm. I grew up in Ruiru. We were always getting up to no good. Going to milk the cows in the morning. In the meantime, maybe we go to help Shosho in her kiosk on the farm where she would sell things. But then we really are going to get sweets. You remember Ko? Do you guys remember Ko? So she used to have Ko in the shop. I don't know. We had ostrich on the farm. So going to look at the ostrich. We had silkworm. We had coffee. It's just it was a magical little jungle paradise farm situation, but we're also very hardworking. We had a lot of homework, so it's between homework and getting up to no good in the farm, it was very adventurous. So adventure is probably the word that I would use, and that has continued to be sort of the journey that I've been on. It's been adventurous for sure. I thought I was going to be a doctor. I was very certain I was going to be a doctor. Since I was basically came out of the womb, I knew that I was going to be Dr. Thogori Karago, not doctor as in PhD, but daktari. Probably a pediatrician. But after spending some time in the hospitals, I realized it just was not working as in dige hot, I could not do it because I found myself being too empathetic and not separating myself from the patients emotionally and mentally. And I think you need to be able to do that in order to be a good doctor. And so, which then prompted my switch to software engineering. And in our terms in software engineering, we call it pivoting. When your startup is not working, you pivot. And so I say I pivoted from medicine to software engineering. So I went to campus in Malaysia in a school called Lim Kok Kwing University. The name was very hard to say. My favorite memory is probably maybe a year or 2 into campus. My sister came to join me in Malaysia. She went to a different school, and my cousins also came. And so we were about 5 of us. We followed each other. We loved each other. So we were just following each other. So my memories of Saturdays in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur with my sisters and cousins, we're not in school, would go shopping, for groceries together. We'd come make a meal. Everybody had their own, was in a different dorm. So we would visit each other's campuses. And I would say probably time with family. So we escaped in each other, right? So you've had a long week and you're in the middle of Asia and you just happen to have 4 cousins who are within 30 minutes driving distance. So we would just do sleepovers at each other's houses. and cook. Like my cousin would come and make us some spaghetti, then we'd buy a bottle of wine and just like, kick it and relax and sort of wind down the week. And it was a very grounding moment, I think, for us. Technology, I love tech. I'm a super gadget freak. I always want to know what's the latest, greatest tech happening. Software, hardware, AI, machine learning. I just have such an appetite and an appetite for like learning about tech and practicing and building tech. So that's what I do for a living and also for fun. So on the side, I have 2 startups that I'm working on and have been working on for a long time. I do a lot of non-for-profit work with girls in tech, my other passion. I love working with girls and sort of little girls and really like driving the point home that they too can be software engineers, because a lot of times they believe that's an industry for boys, but no, the girls are probably better software engineers than boys. And I remember when I was growing up, my dad would tell me, anything a boy can do, you can do better. And I took that to heart. So I'm passionate about girls in tech. Travel, I love to travel. Love. When I was 18, I lived in India for 3 months on my own. And I would travel every week to a different city. And my mom was really concerned. I did it on a summer break. And we were 14 international students. I was part of ISEC. I don't know if you've heard of ISEC. And so I went on an ISEC international exchange. And I was teaching in a school. And we would teach from Monday to Thursday. And then from Thursday to Monday, we would travel. And I'm passionate about my country. I love Kenya. Like, I'm always wearing several Kenya bands. One, another one. I have like the flag in my house. Like, I love my country. I'm a huge patriot. I know we have our challenges. I get it. It affects all of us. But daima mimi Mkenya, I think I grew up with that. I was raised that way, and I am very passionate about Kenya and about Africa. I'm single, but I'm not focused on looking for a relationship. But if it comes, why not? I'm open to it. I don't think I have an ideal date. For me, I think thoughtfulness, creativity. Like, if you just say, let's go to Java and have coffee, I'll be like, okay, anybody can think of that. But it would be nice if you were a little bit creative and thoughtful. Like, for me, if I'm planning a date, I believe like both girls and boys can plan dates. It's like, I'll go on the internet, I'll look like new places in Nairobi to like have a good time. Like Vogue just came out with this article, Kenyan cool girl places. Like, I'll really go out of my way to create a different experience. So I think for me, it's just, was this individual thoughtful? Is it different? Or is it the same old boring coffee date? And nothing against coffee dates, but I think like go to Giraffe Center, go to Karura, go to shopping in Masai Market in town and see whether this person can navigate, the ins and outs. Like, I think having a good time together, learning together, spending time together is probably most important versus just sitting down and drinking a cappuccino. If I was to describe my job in 3 sentences, probably, so my description is, I'm the head of research and development at LinkedIn for Africa. What is research and development? We can just break it down. R&D means engineering, means product, means design, data science, user research, marketing, business development, mergers and acquisitions. Anyway, it's like all the teams that come together to create the LinkedIn app experience for you in Africa, right? So as an engineer, which I am, my job is to ensure that we ship high quality code. And this high quality code meets the objectives of our users, which is, for instance, a LinkedIn job seeking app is to get a job. So my code, I love to code, but it's towards a higher purpose of helping our members get jobs. As a product manager, my job is to ensure that I take all the needs of a user. It's a consumer product. It's not a corporate client. So I have to imagine a persona and imagine, what would Edna want? Edna is a job seeker. She would want ABCD. I create that. I work with a designer. The designer designs the user interface. And then I work with the engineering team to ensure that we build that. And we build it to a high standard, that it's, high availability and so on. I won't go into the techie speak. But at the end of the day, we have a product that meets our users' needs. for us, we want to connect our members with economic opportunity. So it means that when Edna uses our app, she should be more productive and successful at her work and or the next jobs that she wants to get. So a day in the life of me is like a lot of meetings, because you have to, if it was a movie, I would say it's like you're the executive producer, meaning you need all the elements to come together, and it doesn't matter how you do it. So whether you have to do a late night or you have to hire a van to do something, to take engineers to like a specific place or whatever it is, you just have to creatively ensure that the project is completed. How did I end up working for LinkedIn? I was in school at the time. I was doing my master's at Carnegie Mellon University. Carnegie Mellon is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's one of the best schools for computer science. It's also very, very challenging. And so because we don't have a lot of time to go out recruiting, many companies come to school. And so I attended a design happy hour that LinkedIn hosted at Carnegie Mellon. And design is one of the things I've done, and I was interested in that. And so I inquired whether they do product management during that happy hour. And they're like, oh yeah, we do that. And so they put me in touch with somebody. Then for a while, I think we didn't really, it took some time for us to communicate. And then again, I attended a conference called the Grace Hopper Conference for Women in Computing. And I met LinkedIn there again. Actually, incidentally, they gave me my first interview on the spot. So imagine you're just like at a conference and then they're like, oh, it's you again. Do you want to interview like right now? So there was no time to prepare. I was pretty nervous. And I did the interview, went well. And then they flew me out to San Francisco for the rest of the interviews. And that was in 2013, especially with the internet. And we've had all this news around spaces like, I'll give an example. Like there was a news article the other day about YouTube Kids and how there's content that's algorithmically generated that's not necessarily being vetted by an adult, and kids are consuming some of this content. So it's something I think about a lot. I have a lot of kids in my life, and not because of that, but I'm able to put a face. I'm empathetic for my user, but also I'm able to put a face to this user. And so for teens, I would say LinkedIn already self-selects, because LinkedIn is a platform to help get a job. So if a teen is on the platform, the teen is already a step ahead. There is not much negatives that you can have from the teen being on the platform, because really it's about connecting with individuals who can get you jobs. I've met many teens who've gotten internships on the platform. It's about setting yourself up for success for your future career. Many high schoolers who have LinkedIn profiles are a step ahead of those who don't. It's about reading content. So you could either be on Facebook, right? And nothing against Facebook. I love the platform. I use them, all their products, Instagram, WhatsApp, and so on. But then a lot of times the content is more casual, social content. But if you're trying to be focused on your career, LinkedIn is the best place to consume content. And so I think self-selection by the nature of the platform, there are already security sort of guardrails put in place. But secondly, we also have a security team. We have a full security team that observes behavior of accounts. We ensure that our members are protected from spammers, from nefarious characters, and so on and so forth. So it's very top of mind, the safety of all of our members, and we think about each and every audience, teams included.
There are many downs in engineering. It's like my code is not running, it's down. But then that's a minor. Probably some of the downs have been diversity in technology is something I think about daily. There are not enough women, so many times you feel like the only person and you feel like nobody else understands you because you're in a room full of people that don't look like you, right? You're in a room full of potentially white and Asian males who are awesome people, but you look around and they have camaraderie, but then you have not seen or met somebody that looks like you. So it can be challenging to exist in an environment that may make you feel like you don't belong. And so that's a challenging part. Find community. And for me, I think it was learning how to find community when you feel alone. And then another down probably is when your projects don't work out. When we ship these projects, we do something called A/B testing. So your hope is that the metrics or the measurements that you're observing will go up into the right. If I ship a new messaging feature, I will hope that people will message more. But it's really terrible when you spend months of, engineering months of many people, and then your metrics don't work out as you expect. I've had that happen in the past. But you have to sort of have grit, and then instead of backtracking, you identify where the failure was and you fix forward. So I think in the beginning I would panic, like, oh my, the metrics didn't work. What have we done? Wasted so many people's time. And you're the leader, right? So very, when I was junior in my career, I didn't quite know how to deal with not succeeding with regard to like my projects. And as I've grown older, I think you just realize that not all projects are going to succeed, but when they don't, the question is what actions do you take to ensure that maybe one of your assumptions was wrong in your thesis, or maybe there's a bug in the code. Just really trying to identify the root cause and then fixing the root cause. My most rewarding aspect of my career at LinkedIn, I would say, is when people come up to me and they tell me they got a job on LinkedIn. It makes me so happy. I remember there's a time not too long ago, we were in the streets in San Francisco and we were having a parade, and this lady with her babies came up to us and she had tears in her eyes, and she was saying, I was jobless for a year. Thank you so much. I found my job on LinkedIn, and I'm a single mother and I'm supporting my kids. And for me, I got pretty emotional because I was like, many times we have 600 million members, so it's hard to think of each and every individual because 600 million is a lot. It's you can't always think of who you're helping. Like you imagine maybe I'm helping someone in Brazil, someone in Nicaragua, someone in Namibia, someone in Lagos. But when you meet them, it's a special moment when they come to you and say, thank you, like your platform helped me put food on the table and shelter above my kid's head. And for me, that's the biggest satisfaction. When I meet a real human being and not a metric, a real human being who tells me that they found value in my work. So there's a book called Grit that I love, and I've used this word times now in this like 10 minutes. Grit and resilience, sort of, things get tough, but every day there's a stumbling block, and you just have to have grit. And I think that's probably one trait that will get you far into specifically. And I highly recommend that book. I think the author's name is Angela. Just being able to it's like, even when things are going so hard, just sort of buckle down, remember why you're doing it, remember the why. So don't focus so much on the what, which is like, oh, things are not working out. It's the why. Why do I do this? Why do I wake up every day? Why do I show up, when I don't feel like showing up? Those are the moments that matter. When you get out of bed, when you'd rather be in bed and you keep doing the work because you understand the why, and you power through. When maybe you're not being supported, or you have naysayers, but you're so focused on your goal and you're so focused on your why that you power through. And I would say grit.